I want to talk today about something that just occurred to me, and that's high maintenance girlfriends. And this is a term we hear banded around a lot. Um, I want to first address the social condition around this because there's quite a few aspects that come into play here. First of all, we don't hear high maintenance boyfriends and as a saying. So first of all, we're dealing with kind of a sexist opinion and a derogatory observation of the female condition. And from experience, there actually exists high maintenance boyfriends. So, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either. That's a thing that exists in our social condition. So why does this exist? Why are we having these high maintenance, which suggests dysfunctional human beings in relationships? Well, relationships are going to happen, aren't they? Because they're our growth point. They're our strongest point of evolution, because we get reflected and we get triggered. That's easy. So that's always going to happen. But maybe not necessarily the quality of the messy human being in relationship, because my opinion of, or my observation of what makes a high maintenance woman simply comes down to a lack of understanding and a lack of emotional vocabulary to describe how one's feeling. Women need to express their emotions. They need to, because of the raw power that women have inside them, this raw capacity to create life and create, many other things that I think we'll see in the future, especially visionaries. A lot of women are visionaries, bringing in ancient wisdoms and bringing in new wisdoms, and this is all to do with this creative power. And so this exists within this vehicle, and it is intense. It feels intense. It feels like your heart is going to rip open. It feels like your mind is going to burst out of its skull. It's intense. And so what women do is they vocalize, they externalize as a way of being able to reflect and understand what that is. I think men work in perhaps the opposite way. They internalize and reflect internally, and that's kind of just how it is. It doesn't mean that one's right and one's wrong. It's just kind of how it is. So what I would suggest is that this supposed or dysfunction, or this actual dysfunction, comes from the fact that women, first of all, some women have no ability to relate to what's going on within them. So feelings that come up have no place to land. They have no context. They have no ability to mean anything. And that's frustrating when we don't have the... you can see it with children. When children want to express something and they don't have the words for it, they get really frustrated. And I think that's exactly the same with women. We want to express what this feeling is, and it's not even. It perhaps could even be that we that the individual doesn't have the individual vocabulary of or experience to relate to what that is, or it could be that we're just not far enough along the human evolution timescale to have a context for the power that exists within inside the woman. So, and I see that from my point of view as somebody who is quite emotionally intelligent. I understand how my emotions are connected to my physical body, and when they come up, I know where they're from, and I know what they do to me, and I know how to manage them. And part of that management is being able to express them. Now, what I'm imagining that I'm seeing here is that men don't have that, perhaps even same experience, and perhaps don't have the capacity to allow a woman to express those things, because he doesn't understand it. And of course, we know the masculine mind likes to have things catalogued and understood, and yeah. So I guess my synthesis of this thing is that high maintenance woman is perhaps just a woman who hasn't had the ability to understand herself and master herself, and that is not necessarily even her fault. It's a very strong social conditioning that we've got, to be ignorant, uh, to be trapped in fear and consumption. I mean, we know this. We know what our society is setting us up to do. It's consume, work, die. And having a rich inner life satiates that need to externalize and buy things. I mean, we know this. This is old hat. Well, maybe you don't know that. Let it marinate on that for a while. Um, and also, so I think the next thing to do is, let's maybe, rather than, oh yes, his ex-girlfriend was high maintenance, maybe we just need to unify a bit and be like, well, that poor sister didn't have the vocabulary of emotional intelligence, and for some reason that man was attracting that woman to have that conversation. So if they didn't get their medicine, for example, if they walked away from or left that relationship without love and integrity and transparency, truth, and honor, then they didn't learn their medicine. So if we're walking around pointing the finger, oh, that person's, she's a high maintenance female, then, or he said, maybe it's reflecting something back to us. And so my I guess, because everything that I look at, I'm interested in opening up into perhaps solution. And so I think if a masculine is called into that relationship, then that would be the capacity to be able to hold that woman through that process. And I think women don't necessarily need anything from expressing that, because I think the genius of the total being finds a resolution in itself. It just does need to express it, articulate it, look at it, reflect upon it, integrate it, and then it can go back in a more ordered, intelligent fashion. So I guess the impulse, or the invitation to the masculine is just to hold that space. Let your woman go through it, not at the never at the expense of your own safety and your own integrity, of course. And same with women, like you can't take it out and dump it there and leave it there. You have to integrate it. You have to go through that whole process. So all in all, I think it just comes down to mastery and knowing yourself and engaging in that journey of knowing who you are, and it's, or everything that we feel is okay. It's all part of that beautiful journey. So yeah, be gentle on yourself, be gentle with each other, be gentle with that process of becoming a functional, emotionally intelligent woman or man or couple. It's so incredible when you see it. It's so beautiful to see when you can see people that are at that level of self-responsibility, full self-responsibility, and mastery. Yeah. So that's all I really have to say about that, about the high maintenance woman. Yes, and any beautiful, well-designed machine needs maintenance and needs an investment of time and energy, and that's the holding space. So yeah, good luck with life. It's an interesting, beautiful life. Peace out, y'alls.